I wasn't sure exactly what drew me to Soul Parent Spiritual Child. I knew that there was some discomfort, even within myself, about accepting that it was something that I wanted to go into. And as much as it felt very much around supporting myself as a parent and my daughter, a lot of the work was centered on and came up around healing between my mother and I. Before I started, we had a very transactional relationship. From the outside, somebody could look at us and think that we had a great relationship and lots of commonalities, and we're able to laugh together and travel together. But there was also a lot of hurt, and we were very good at throwing daggers at each other in the name of love, and pretending it was that way, and it was codependent, and it wasn't healthy. And there was a lot of pieces within myself that had to come up and to face that helped to transform that relationship without me needing anything from my mom. I thought that I could be the daughter that she wanted and she needed if she could show up and be the mother that I wanted and I needed. And through this work, I got to figure out the person that I needed from myself and the loving that I needed from myself. And I got to forgive my mom for some things that were outside of her conscious control, but I was on some level very angry with her about inviting into my life. And it's very different now. We have really clear boundaries with each other, which at one point I thought that was the way of separation, of keeping somebody at a distance. And it was by not having boundaries with somebody that you were actually close. And I understand how backwards that is now. Each and every one of my sessions for Soul Parent Spiritual Child was gentle, was clear and clean, and had focus. And the topic was this huge, profound concept and part of my life. And it would get reshaped. And understandings about interactions and society and understandings and things we take for granted start to become dismantled and shifted and changed and molded. But it's not like a chisel into a rock. It's like water cascading and just shaping and directing and guiding so that you don't even really notice the profound changes that are happening. It feels like, oh yeah, that totally makes sense. Here's this little thing that's going to be a little bit different. And I can say I got to the end and yeah, there were some big pieces of my life that had changed, and there were some big understandings that had changed, but I look around and everything is still familiar. I think on a small level, that sense of being able to meet a whole other person began to be possible. So with my dad, with my ex, with my sister, I had great relationships with a part of them, with the role within which they interacted in my life. And when through this work I stopped showing up as the part of Kathy that needed to show up for that person, and as I invited myself to show up more fully, I get to meet people who I've known for years and years in a wholeness. And just by being, I guess, and it's still a little bit bizarre to me in my mind, but I'm living it and seeing it, that they have an opportunity to show up in a more full and whole way and connect with that heart in a more intense way.